Shalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Out there in my internet world. It's the elder here coming before y'all. I hope everyone's staying cool. That humidity out there, it's about 70%. You just walk outside and you start sweating. I know we had some storms roll on in. Um and I see that they have made some of their way out. Supposed to storm a little bit later on for those who are preparing to go out this evening. Please stay, pay attention and stay aware of the weather of today. All right, but it's the Most High Yah's holy Sabbath or Shabbat, His set apart day, right? Saturday, day number 7, right? Or the day resets or the week resets on Sunday or 6 7 p.m. Sunday on today. So I just pray that everybody has a new refresh walk and a refresh wind into this week. But for those who have been supporting the elder, I appreciate it. For those who pop in and come out and pop back in, I pray that the Most High redirects you into getting some of this food, some of this spiritual food that you need, because we need it to help sustain us from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. He would not have given it to us if we didn't need it. Hey, shalom, shalom. Back on again. But it's good to see you, Sister Sharon. I pray everything continues to move in its righteous order, and you continue to do all you're doing, and those that are around you who can help. I pray that they're doing the same. All right. So we're going to jump in today. The book of Numbers, chapter 16. Numbers, chapter 16, verse number 4. And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face, and he spoke unto Korah and to all the company, saying, even tomorrow Yah will show who are his and who is holy. Numbers chapter 16, and I just read verse 4 and 5. It says, and when Moses heard it, he fell on his face. So he heard something that just, did he physically fall or did he fall on his face to pray? Something just took over, just hit him, right? And it says, he spoke unto Korah and to all of his company, saying, even tomorrow Yahweh will show who are his. Shalom. And who is holy, and will cause him to come near unto him, even to him who he has chosen will come near unto him. So, Shalom, was good seeing you. Hey, sis, take some of this heat back. We want to send some of this heat back down to Texas where you're at. It's hot here in the Northeast. It's the humidity. So it's about 90, 92, 93, but it feels like it's 100. It's like you walk outside, it's 70% humidity. So I hope everyone's staying cool. I know the weather patterns are very shifty, so we have to be diligent in this season and pay attention and start being the weatherman, weatherwoman, trying to look. Yes, we know they can't predict everything, but being smart in this season. So when we look at the book of Numbers, right, verse 5, Yah is going to what? Show the set apart. He's going to show who is holy and who is not, right? We see when we start looking at this, right? And because when we go back to Numbers chapter 16, verse 3, Korah claimed that all of the congregation was holy and Yah was amongst them. See, as a backstory. So I encourage everyone go back, start reading Numbers chapter 16, and we'll talk about Korah, Dathan, and the rebellion that was taking place. So we were seeing, and this is what happens, right? That Yah had called the children of Israel to be my kingdom, right? His kingdom. And he was saying, my kingdom is what? A kingdom of priests, right? And holy, set apart nation, right? Not just the priests, but the nation, the group of people. And but that role was truth be told, just like today, is based off of what? The obedience. Obedience that we have, or that we will show, or that you should show to the Most High. Sometimes we see, things that happen in life, right? Yeah, I saw the laugh. No, you can take the heat. We see the things, but I don't want to quote either. But we see the things that happen in life, and I always say this: our decision was a net. Our decisions in life are usually based off of what? Whether we were obedient or not. Somewhere down the line, we heard a direction that the Most High gave us. Somewhere down the line, we chose to what? Do what we wanted to do, right? And I understand, and I get it, 100%, right? But the thing is that we have to understand, even when we're looking at Korah, that the Most High. See, what happens is we look at it as sometimes something's phony, something's fake, something comes around, and it's our job to really have the discernment. See, this is why we have to go to the king, because we have to say, I need this discernment. It looks like chicken, it smells like chicken, but something just looks off about that piece of chicken right there. And even sometimes we may not be able to fully grasp, or fully understand what it is of that thing. That's why we have Yeshua, and we have the Most High to what? Curve, or to what? Redirect our mind so we can see what is true compared to what is a lie. What is clean compared to what is unclean. Or what is what? Holy compared to what is unholy. I'm sorry, y'all. I got a knack that this thing is. I already see what he's trying to do, trying to bug me up here, right? So number 16, it says, "In the morning, Yah will show you, or show who are His." But at that point in time, once Yah showed who His true people were, you have a choice. I have a choice. We can either glue or move, or what? Or merge, or put ourselves to the hip of the true people, or we can what? Glue or merge and put ourselves to what? The hip of what? The false people. And see, this is what Yah was trying to say. Korah looked great. They claimed they were, the holy nations, right? They were given responsibilities, right? We understand that. The Korah was given the responsibilities because we understand Aaron and Levitical priesthood. Korah came from what? The Levitical priesthood side. But the difference is that Korah wanted a higher status. They wanted to be known. They wanted, look at me, see me, look what we're doing. And this is the thing that we got to be careful, because when we start to look in our lives and look at everything around us, are the people being obedient that's around us? Are the people that we are choosing to glue ourselves to, are they being around, or are we being obedient? Are we just doing what we want to do? Because see, the Most High says, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to give you something, right? He's not going to make it into what? A great big secret. He's see at this time, we're in the time period right now where Yah is just straight up. Sister Sharon, you see it. Sister Doc, you see it. Clean versus unclean, righteous versus unrighteous, right? And this is what it is. It is our flesh that is so twisted up and so confused. When Yah said, I'm making this plain and simple. You had the decision. Shalom, brother. You had the decision. I had the decision to what? Make our decision. This is the same free will, right? Because nothing is secret. Let's go to Luke chapter 8. Luke chapter 8, Shalom, Ak, it's good seeing you. Verse 17, right? It says, Yeshua, Yahushai, Mashiach, the Christ, he says, for nothing is secret that shall not be what? Manifested. That should not what? Come forth. It says, neither anything shall not be known and come abroad. So the Most High, through Yeshua is saying, first of all, it's how we respond to the light, how we respond to what he has given, what he has given us, right? So he's showing us, well, it's your responsibility if we're going to accept and take the light. It's your responsibility if we're going to open ourselves up to what? Receive more light, right? So everything that is, see, we like to look at that the scripture, but remember, it was talking about the candle's light. Are we going to what? Open ourselves up to receive more light, or what? Open ourselves up to receive no light. So we see that, it is our responsibility. Yah's going to bring what? At the end, everything to light. You had the opportunity, right? So we have to start looking at this as ones who have been handpicked by the Most High. Remember, Brother Best, you, me, we've been what? Handpicked by him, but it's our responsibility to what? Come and go to him, because it's our responsibility, right? He's saying, listen, that the song, I'm chasing after you. Y'all's like, I'm standing right here. What are you running around chasing for me? I called you. I called your family generation after generation after generation. Somebody had to see. The truth is the reason why most of us are here, because somebody down, and I know some of y'all don't subscribe to Ancestry. I went back through Ancestry, and then I found, and I'm looking back through my father's lineage, and I'm looking, and I said, wow, that I had to go back to great grandparents, and I'm like, yo, they were so-called Israelites, or they didn't use the word, that they were Bereans. They're the ones that said, I'm going to walk in this life, right? So Yah saying, hey, come to me. I'm giving you a way to come. But some of us choose to run the opposite way. Most of the time it's because of responsibility. Let's keep it real. Because now it's like, man, I gotta be held to standards. And then it's like, I gotta hold my own self to standards. Come on. It's easy, man. The flesh loves what's out there. But then as you continue to grow, you ever do something and you like, that just ain't feel good no more. Like, they call it sin sick, because it's the Most High's weighing on you and saying, all right, I need you to turn your way. It's time to turn. It's time to curve. You've been handpicked, but we got to first come out of hiding. See, that's most of it is that what? We hide it. We hide that his voice is speaking to us. I can't go tell my wife or my daughter or my son or my husband, and the thing is Yah saying, I'm trying to manifest and show something to you, right? So look at 8:17, Luke verse 8, verse 17. What Christ say? Nothing is secret that what? Will not manifest, will not what? Be made known, right? So we see us that, look, it's going to become evident in our life, but are we going to accept the evidence that was given to us? Yo, it took me a long time, y'all know that. Yo, it's like, I keep hearing something, and it kept coming, and it kept coming. I'm like, wait, I heard this from somebody that I knew wasn't a believer. Remember, the Most High will even use people to what? Redirect you. Because he's like, I need you in this season, because it's people that you can reach, whose lives that you could change. You're talking about generation upon generation. You may speak and teach somebody one thing, and it changes their whole family dynamic. See, we're so caught back up with Deuteronomy 28, with the curses, and we don't look at the light that we can bring to other people and to the nations. Yeah, well, I may not be here. Well, you know what? You're going to be rewarded for it. Who cares if you're not going to be here? Who cares if you're changing people's families and lives and dynamics? See, we can go and be like, yo, I'm going to keep it hood. I'm keeping it gutter. We could do all this other stuff out in the street to change people's lives for the negative, and we never think about it. Man, let's keep it real. But we don't want to put the energy into changing the outcome of someone's lives and their family's lives for the future. That's our whole goal in life, is what? To do better than what was done to us. Our parents did as best as they could. I know, man, it'd be times I'd be like, man, mom, yo, you, but it's what they knew. Just like what we know, it's our responsibility to pass down to our children. If they're going to go back and look back and say, yo, listen, yo, mom, dad, y'all could have did this. You could have did this better. I didn't like how you did this. But it fell back on what? The decisions I made. Remember, he gave us free will. He gave us the choices. So sometimes we make good choices. Sometimes we make bad choices. We turn around and blame everybody. It's like, yo, it was my decision. That's the very beginning of what? Knowing that Yah is trying to take you somewhere, right? So the Most High is saying, listen, I need you to stop hiding yourself during this season. He's saying, listen, stop hiding your gift. Stop hiding who you are. Stop hiding your talent. Because I gave you these things, what? For a reason. And remember, the reason is what? To bring those on the outside back into what? Like I said, back into his kingdom, right? So we got to look and say, look, even Adam and Chua, Adam and Eve, they tried to what? They tried to even hide, right, from Yah in the garden, right? See, it's the accountability portion. I think is what the problem is. I think that's the problem. It's like people can go to church, you go to assembly, but the accountability is why people have the real hard time really wanting to change, because the moment you start to speak the truth, your subconscious and your conscious start dealing with the cerebellum and the cerebellum part of your brain. It starts to what? Move around and spin, and you're like, practice what you preach what you practice. Because now you have to hold yourself accountable. I'm going to get up every single morning. I made a promise that every morning I'm going to get up and I'm going to go over to my neighbor and make sure, I check on her. Now, what do? You told yourself that promise, but now you have to what? Now you're like, oh gosh, I told my neighbor, and now they're expecting it, right? But listen, we have to see that even though when we look at Adam and Chua, right? Adam and Eve, right? When they tried to hide from the Most High, right? They tried to hide from him, and Yah called them out. Where are you? Where are you? They knew they had to answer, because Yah is saying, you can't hide from me. Stop hiding from him during the season, people. Internet, Zion, those who coming in, stop hiding from him in this season, right? So it's we already know that he has eyes everywhere, and we can't hide from him. Straight up. I know it's just like, no, but you can hide from yourself, and that's what you're trying to do, and that's what's happening, right? What happened to Jonah? Jonah tried to what? Hide from the Most High, right? I'm going to go. You're telling me to go speak to these people in this area. And he said, no, Most High, they're not worthy. So what did he do? He tried to jump in the ship to go hide from them. So what did he do? We all know what happened to him. He ended up sending what? The big fish or the whale, for the sake of argument, right? So let's go to Hebrews chapter 4, verse 13. It's coming out season. It's saying, yo, I'm busting out. It's time for me to bust out, because when you bust out, other people around you can bust out as well. I know sometimes it seems like we're walking out and we're only on our own path. It's only us by ourselves, and it can feel really lonely out there. That's how Satan wants you to feel. He wants you to what? Feel like, hey, it's only you. He wants you to feel like, hey, all that teaching of what you hear is not true, and you're the only one out here, and because you're not doing. Remember, the scripture when we came in was what? Yah saying, I need you to understand that you are being set apart for a reason. We got to understand that. Hebrews 4 verse 13. All right, shalom. Hebrews 4 verse 13. Neither is it any creature that is not manifested in his sight, but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him who we have to do, right? So when we're looking at this, it's saying that the Most High is saying no creature is hidden from his sight, right? But all are naked and exposed, to who we have to give what? An account to. So we have to give an account. You can't hide from him. His eyes see everything. He has watchers. Yes, we can go and say the Most High doesn't see everything, right? Because he doesn't look down on sin. I know I covered that before. Some people agreed, some people disagreed, and that was covered by the great apostle, right? But the point is that there's watchers, and there's going to be an account of everything we do. But we as set apart people, we have to stay set apart, because what? The set apart people know and understand and hear his voice. When he tells you don't go, don't go. Yah's going to speak through you. He's going to speak through his servants. He's going to speak through his prophets. See, the issue is a lot of times as well, it's like when we look at family dynamics, and that's just my sister. No, that's not your sister. That's just my grandma. No, that's not your grandma. It's the Most High speaking, especially when it's truth. So what happens when most people hear truth? Most people don't want to hear the truth and they run away. They run away from it, right? So, we see this over and over. But so when Yah is speaking out and speaking to the ones, there's a reason why he's speaking to you. He tells you, hey, you know what? You need to go up. I was in the gym one day and I'm just minding my own business. And the Most High told me to walk up to a lady, never knew, didn't know her. She was old enough to be my mom, and gave her a word right on the spot. Didn't ask her really what you should do. I was out of order. You should say, hey, I got a word to give to you. But it was so there. Most High was like, you can't leave. And I tried to walk away and I ran back into the lady again. And she was like, wow. She's like, I don't know how you know me, blah, blah, blah. And I just spoke to her for a bit, right? We have to learn to listen because he says I'm going to what? Was it First Chronicles chapter 21, verse 9. It says, and the Lord spoke unto Gad, David's seer, saying, see, people keep forgetting. King David had what? An overseer. He said, go tell David everything. Thus saith Yah, and I offer three things, and choose one of them that I will do unto you. See, even though Gad and Nathan were the two prophets associated with David, both of them, think about it, had unpleasant what? Think about as a seer or as the prophet, and y'all know how it is, how you have to go and tell somebody something that was going to happen. He said, listen, David, yes, you do all X, Y, and Z, but you got a divine punishment that's coming. Think about it. We have a hard time telling our family members or even other prophets things that are going to happen, right? So, and we don't say anything. Just like I said, Most High said, go speak to this woman in the gym that I never met, I never seen before. She's old enough to be my mom. And you know what? I was able to do it. But there's been times in our life, right, that, we try to keep what Yah is telling us secret. We don't know how much that would change that person's life if what? We just came forward, shalom, brother, and just what? Mention that, right? So Gad, remember, he presented David with three options and he said, yo, there's going to be three punishments for your behavior. Think about it. You walked up to a king. Let's keep it real. David was a king, right? The Philistines and Yah had allowed him to come through and do all the things he's done, but go to a king at that time and go tell him something. We saw over and over, even kings that were within shalom, brother, kings that were within Zion, within Israel themselves, they even put the prophets to death. So it had to have been scary for Gad and Nathan, right? So we see this, that what? David even understood that, listen, once the Most High comes and speaks to me through the prophet, it's something I got to do. I need to listen, right? So King David, we understood, was one of the Most High's what? Beloved. He was the set apart. He was, the argument that some say it's going to be King David as the king on earth, right? Millennium period. Some say it's going to be Yeshua, Christ himself. But we understood that King David was put in a place of renown, but we understood that King David even had to what? Listen to the word from the prophet, and he saw the prophet and the seer, right? So nothing will be made secret. When Yah puts something, a burning desire in you, he's going to make you what? Use that flame. It's going to keep on igniting. Sometimes you ever had something like, I gotta see, we were so quick in the street, yo, when I see that, man, and you will stew for 2 years, so you ran into that person. And then you let them have it. Why can't we burn inside like that with the flame of the Most High, and just speak when he tells us to say something the first time? Self-doubt. See? Because most of the time we are the ones we're trying to, Prophet Tracy, and you know this, we covered this back in class, hiding from ourselves. Most of the time. So when you hide from yourself, you lie to yourself, right? So we have to still what? Continue to what? Accept the calling. Sometimes I know how it is. It's like I'm in and out. I'm in and out. I'm in and out. No, the Most High says, listen, when you step in to what? In between his holy drapes, I want you to stay there. Because I got so much more in store for you, right? See, we take, right? And a lot of us, and we've seen people, I've seen, and before, and under you, we've seen people who've taken the what? Calling for granted. We have. And you know it hurts. You ever see somebody that has a gift? I seen brothers in the truth get knocked back into religion. I seen brothers and sisters in the truth. They got hurt so bad. They're gone. You can't. Where are they? They're gone. You know, we can't take the calling. You can't take your acceptance for what? Granted. Because you have to understand. We hear the calling. You heard the calling. The calling was for you to be here today for some reason. The calling was for you to say, yo, listen, stop what you're doing. Let me tap on in, right? Because what happens? Your election must be sure. You elected somewhere down the line. That's why Second Peter said, listen, get out of here, Satan. Satan's Goonies. Little Goonie Nat, man. It's getting on my nerves. He said, listen, your election has to be sure, right? There's many that were in the body or are in the body of the Messiah in the past, present, and future, right? We still look at this and, we said we want to know what? Yah in his fullest. See, we take the trainings that we were given, we take our studies that we were given, and we look at all of these things and say, okay, Most High, I need you to birth more into me and give me more. Yah's like, you haven't even fully comprehended Genesis 101 yet, right? And sometimes we don't elevate or we're not moved into that seat at that time that he wants us to move in because we weren't, going back to the original scripture from the very beginning, we weren't what? Being holy to what he's given us, right? So, we all look at it and say the job of an apostle is the birth, a job as a prophet, the birth. That's why they had schools of the prophet. If their job wasn't the birth, why would they would have had the school of the prophet? Yeah, the school. You got to go back and you have to look at this, right? So, all due respect, the Most High is using you because he's saying, I need you to find. Okay, we walk into a building. It's a big building. What do you do when you get a new job? First thing you ask, hey, where's my office at? Hey, where's my classroom at? Hey, where's my seat at? That's what we do. We're walking in and we're walking around this big building and we're lost and we're spending so much time instead of going into our office, sitting in that seat in that office. And what? While I'm in that office, I'm preparing. I'm preparing for what? My elevation. Just like a job. You walk into work, your first day, you say, hey, man, okay, I'm the lowest at the totem pole. Now, how do I, and I don't mean use totem pole. See, it's words like that we do say because you go back and you listen and say, and then you find out what a totem pole meant and represented. But you're the lowest on the hierarchy. So, excuse me for that. And your goal is, like in most of our minds, is to what? To move up and to elevate. I'm going to sit here in this position until it's time for me what? To get to where I want to get to where I have to get to, right? So we have to understand that the Most High is using us in this season, prophet, to saying, listen, we believe that, okay, you're maxed out, I'm maxed out. But it's those that are around us that he's using, that he needs to use you to what? Elevate the others and elevate the others to come. I like Star Wars, right? At the end of Star Wars, he said, man, all the Jedis are gone. And then Yoda said, no, it's still one to come. That's how we have to think. The prophets of the past would not have done their job if they all believed that they were the prophet or they believed that what? There was not yet one to come. See, you're paving the way. What did Yeshua and John? He said, I am here to pave the way. I opened the way for what? The future. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 13. Deuteronomy 13, verse 6 to 8. It says, if your brother, your mother, the son of your mother, or your son or daughter, or wife of your bosom, or your friend, which is your own soul, entices you secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which you have not known, nor your fathers, namely the gods of what? Of the people which are around you. See, people are so fast to worship what's around them and worship the other gods. I keep telling people, if you make your election sure, if you came out of hiding, if like the Most High says, nothing is what? Nothing is going to be in secret, right? We have to be careful on a hierarchy of what we put people. Some people spend more time with the people than what? With the Most High, right? So let me keep reading. It says, and other gods around you are far from you, or from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. You shall not what? Consent unto him. You shall not listen to him. Neither you should put your eye on them or spare, or you should conceal him. So the Most High is saying, I need you to be loyal to me even to the end. I need you to be loyal when I say, listen, you're holy, you're set apart, you're Kodesh, there's something about you. This is why you're not sleeping at night. This is why you're waking up at 3:03 every single night, every morning. Yah is trying to call you. He's saying, hey, okay, you may not hear the voice of the prophets or the people around you, but this is what the Most High said. I need you to what? Awaken. I need you to what? Okay, we're saying I'm awake. I'm sitting in my seat. But are you sitting in your seat serving correctly? Because your goal is to what? Go fishing and bring other what? Fish in and continue this whole cycle, right? So even if our own best friend tells us, let's go out and do these things, right? Do not listen to them. Yah has, listen, first of all, we should show them no pity, right? That's what he's telling us. This is Yah saying, don't spare them. I know it's hard sometimes because that's why when we're new creatures or we're new beings, we leave the thing of the past in the past. So we're what? We don't fail. We are servants of the Most High Yah and nothing else. Your election has to be sure. And this is what it has. This is what it is. That's what Yeshua was teaching his disciples. He even told you, what was it? Matthew chapter 10. If you love your mother or your father more than me, don't follow. I know it's hard. I know it's like, yo, this is my child, or this is my dog, this is my puppy. I love it so much. It is, or this is, it's like the old timer that just he's outside just washing his car in the middle of a rain and thunder and lightning storm, right? You got people like, you love your car that much that you in the middle of a thunder and lightning storm and you out there washing that car? Where's the love at for the Most High? See, we gotta be obedient. Like I said, your obedience sometimes is what? It depicts the future civilizations. Caleb was obedient to the Most High, and what happened? For those who may not know, his whole family line was given what? He was given the city of Hebron just because he listened to the Most High Yah. When the Most High says, I need you to enter, it's time for you to enter, right? I need for you to go. I need for you to speak, right? So see, a lot of times, and sometimes they tell you, I need you to stand still. I don't need you to go out. I don't need you going out flexing your muscle. It's not all time for that, right? Let me keep going. Let me see. Any shalom, yep. And that's the thing, man. When we start dealing with what the Most High, he's trying to tell us, he's like, listen, he wants us to be what? Loyal to him. But what? We turn around and we have became ones who what? Have become what? See, idolatry is big. It is. You know how many of us are going to face a judgment because, including myself, I'm putting this in, that I'm spending more time on the phone than I am with the Most High. This is real, right? He's saying, I gave you this phone, brother, so you can perfect your gift. I gave you a gift. Will you awaken and see what I have given you? Right? You got to crawl before you what? Walk. You got to walk before you run, right? But we're still walking in the empty building looking for our office when he said, that's your office right there. I need you to sit down and I need you to see. Some people may say, hey, I'm not a teacher. I can't. What did Jeremiah chapter 1 say? Yah says, listen, I'm going to what? Give you the voice to speak. You may not want to be online teaching. You may not be on the street. You may be one who what? Who sits back and moves in order. There's prophets that their job was to say, hey, I'm going to put things in order and out of order, right? So the thing is that many of us have learned, including myself. Some of us. Listen, the great apostle. I don't know if I can put the word on there right, but Pop left at a certain time, right? But the Most High said, I've given you the things that what you need to have to what sustain during this time or continue to grow, right? So we got to make sure that what we don't become what immature prophets. Prophet, this is what happened. Don't be one who abandons ships. Oh, well, so-and-so's not here no more. Or my bishop or pastor, my teacher, I'm not here to listen. Don't be one that's now we're jumping from place to place, assembly to assembly, book to book. No, if he told you to read Deuteronomy chapter 1, read Deuteronomy chapter 1. Don't jump to Matthew because someone else told you. The Most High is showing you this. He's saying, listen, I need you to what? Stay faithful during this time. And staying faithful is what? Moving in order and staying in order, right? So y'all don't bear with me. I'm about to have to I'm gonna have to mess with this because now I feel like he's like flying on my nose. This is how they work. It's distractions, right? Think about it. When Paul was awaiting his trial before Caesar, remember Paul was going. They captured him. They said, "Hey, listen, you're going against what they believed were the teachings at the time, right?" He wrote a letter to the people of what? Of Colossians. See, that's when we look at Paul. Paul wrote letters. He said, listen, this is what it is like to be what? A true servant of the Most High Yah. These are the things it's going through. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. I'm almost out your way. Colossians. See, because and that's why it's important to understand the letters of Paul, because he was trying to make people understand what he was going through. Colossians 1:23. If you continue in the faith, he says, grounded and settled. He's saying, I told you you're set apart. I told you that, listen, nothing is going to be hidden. I'm giving you these gifts. He's saying, and do not be moved away from the hope of what? The gospel. We understand that word is different. Which you have heard and which was preached to, listen, every creature which is under heaven. So as I teach, my cat's downstairs being fed. As I teach, get it? This gnat is either being fed, right? Or the word is disturbing him so bad that he's what? Coming to harass me because what? It's supposed to be correcting him. Y'all see it. He said every creature. So when you speak the truth, when you speak those things, right? Everything around you has to what? It's going to be a reaction. Everything around it is protons, neutrons, electrons. It's everything that starts to move around. It's the vibration of everything. So you're speaking the what? Word of Yah, which is a vibration, and it affects everything. Paul even said it. He said, which is under heaven. He said, therefore I am Paul, and I am made what? A minister, right? So we see that believers are going to be presented, right, back to the beginning, holy and blameless, faultless. Come on, Sister Da. Blameless if they what? Don't abandon the faith. But if you never give him a chance or an opportunity, people be like, yo, that church stuff don't work for me. That assembly stuff don't work for me. That this doesn't work. But did you give him the opportunity? And I'm talking about an opportunity like really sitting down and studying. Rewinding, going looking at the elder, rewinding. Let me see what he said was the truth. Hey, let me inbox. Yo, I didn't understand this. Let me reach. Listen, it's to the point that Google, there's such stuff that Google can't even, they can't, you tell the you put it in there and it's going to give you the truth. Sometimes there's lies and we see what's happening, right? But he said you're going to be blameless if you don't what? Abandon what? The word of Yah, the truth, the gospel, the context. This is what he was saying. So Paul was warning the believers in Colossians at the time. Like I said, remember these books were what? Stop worrying about these perverted, syncretic beliefs, the system. See, this is what's happening today where things were twisted. And this is why Yah said, I'm sending prophets. If the word was supposed to be where it was and where it is and it's finished, there will be no more prophets. There wouldn't be those who are teaching the world to go back into what the full truth of the Most High. Some people try to say, hey, the prophet was done away with when Christ was on earth. Well, we can easily debunk that as well, right? But when we sit here and we look, you got to stop hiding. You got to be like Peter, like Kepha, right? He hid. I covered this a couple weeks ago. Yeshua said, listen, you're going to deny me 3 times. We got to not worry about what's going to happen to you. what's going to happen. What's going to happen to yourself? We got to worry. Stop. We have to what? Because if we do, the judgment falls back on us. Going back and listening again to see if you missed something that can edify. Yes. You know, a lot of times we do. That's what gets me sometimes upset about kingdom study but it's why she's told you, right? The prophet told you, she says, prophetess for those that don't get upset, but the prophet told you, write this down. You need to go back because it's been some stuff that is just so heavy that we can't, that it just, and sometimes it's not the season for us, right? So, what's that on your lips? Lip gloss? So, we have to understand that in order to build Yah's kingdom, right? Leave that alone. In order to build his kingdom, we have to build ourselves up because we are part of the kingdom, whether we like it or not. Right? What's happening here? Just as Yah speaks things into existence, the Most High speaks things into existence, you know, he's giving you the same power to speak healing, to speak life, to speak love, to speak what? Prophecies, to speak protection, as long as we do it in what? His name, right? So we have to speak up. This is called a shofar, your mouth, blowing the horn, right? So in this season, make sure your election is sure. Make sure you just spend time with them and ask them. When Yah tells you to govern or to speak or to lead, just do it. Right? Let's go to last scripture, Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 22. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 22. When a prophet speaks in the name of Yah, says it right here, if the thing follows not, nor does come and pass, the thing that Yah has spoken, but the prophet has spoken it presumptuously, you should not be afraid of him. See now, the false prophet must not be feared. And this is what we gotta handle this. This is the last one for the day. Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. Let's keep it real here. Daniel, they can still be considered today as a false prophet. Because why? Some of the words which they say didn't come true. But are they a false prophet? See? You may speak and tell somebody something. They're like, hey man, well you said this was this. I'm telling you what I saw. And I'm telling you what the Most High showed me or told me to tell you. It doesn't mean that I'm a false prophet or you're a false prophet or they're a false prophet because it didn't come to pass right then and there at that moment, right? But we have to see what happened. Hananiah predicted that what? Jerusalem was going to fall. Now, how long did that happen? How long did it take under what? In the Babylon exile. How many years did that go by? They said, okay, we knew Jerusalem was going to fall. It really took to 70 AD to the southern kingdom was what? Exploded out of northeast Africa. Go look. Israel is in Africa. It's on the African tectonic plates. It's a science now. You don't have to believe. It's science. So it took time for what? The true inhabitants who lived in that land, right? Post Yeshua, right around that time. So that was what? 70 AD. So that was hundreds of years that went past in order for that prophecy to what? Come to pass. So you gotta be careful, you know, because in that case, then you know we looked at it. Oh, did I get a hand? I think I might have made a mistake with Hananiah. But we have to look at the prophecies. I'm going to erase the Hananiah because I have to go back and look at that. I think there was my point is that something that someone speaks or teach to you, right? Sometimes it just doesn't happen right away. That's why some people say, I don't believe prophets. I don't believe what they had to say because this is what somebody spoke and it didn't happen. Was it a prophecy that Abraham and Sarah were going to have a baby? So what makes it different because it came from an angel, from a Malachim, from Malak? It was still a prophecy. And she even laughed and said, 99 years old, I'm not having no baby. But it came to pass. So listen, you are responsible. We are responsible for others, right? We are responsible that what? We come out of the hiding. That's what Yah says. That we're responsible that we come out and we what? Teach when he tells you to teach, right? We have to just make sure that we truly, truly believe and we understand that what? Our election is sure. Acts chapter, last scripture, Acts chapter 7, Amir, don't do that. Acts chapter 7, verse 31. Sorry, y'all. Okay. Acts chapter 7. In verse 31. And this is it for tonight. It says, when Moses, is it Acts 7? You're right. No, it's Acts 7 and 51. Okay, this is when Stephen accuses his accusers. You stiff-necked and uncircumcised heart and ears. You always resist the Holy Spirit just as your fathers did. Stop resisting him. The truth is he's trying to set you free. He's trying to set your future generations free from captivity. Which of the prophets have your fathers persecuted? And have they slain them which showed before the coming of the just one, who you have now been betrayers and murderers? Who have received the law by the disposition of angels and not kept it, right? So make sure that what? You know what you are facing. Make sure you know that, listen, I know Yah has told me to speak. I know he said, hey, sit still, baby. I know he's saying, these are the things that I must do, right? So do them. Stephen, what? Stood his ground, and unfortunately he was stoned. Think about it. He gave his life for what? The word that Yah has given him to what? Teach others. Yes, thank you, Doc. Yeah, it was Acts 7:51, right? You know what you're facing. We must come back out of hiding, take back your city. Your city is first your home. Snatch all of these spirits that are just walking around. We've been talking about children and how children can be used very easily because they're very sensitive in the spirit. When he says take your city back, city of Zion, that's Israel in you. That's Jerusalem in you. Take this back and get this what? Ready for the return of what? The Lamb. Take this back. Because this is what? The future right here. We may not see it. But what we do and what we say and how we move, what will determine what? The future cities.
So what future cities?
You tell me what future city. What future city is Daddy talking about?
Israel?
And, yep, and who's Israel?
Me?
Yes. You are not me. I am Israel. I am the holy temple. And the Most High Yah dwells in you. Right? What's the Most High? Is he telling you to say anything?
Where?
You're on live.
Oh. I don't know what to say.
Okay. So if Yah's not telling you to say anything, then we stay quiet.
Okay, I can
let
say
Daddy
something.
finish.
So it's not it's Acts 7:8.
It's okay. We'll read Acts 7:8. Let's see what this says.
With me?
Yep.
Shall they come?
No. Right here, this one.
Oh. And
Daddy turn the light up for you. There you go.
That's perfect. And he gave him the covenant covenant of Kareem,
circumcision.
and so Albert,
Whose name is that?
Abraham
Had
had
Isaac
and
circumcised
him. The earth.
What number is that?
What number?
What number is that? What does that say?
Oh, 8.
8th day.
And
Isaac had Jacob. And Jacob.
Where were you?
Jacob had the 12 patriarchs.
The 12 patriarchs.
So the covenant of circumcision. She was told to read that. So go back in and listen, and just look at that. But it was still the promise. The covenant was what? The promise. And these were the things that were going to happen. But we have to continue and say, I want to continue to be better. Right?
Yeah.
So anything you need to say before we finish? Say shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Okay? Say, I am the future.
I'm the future.
I am royalty.
I'm royalty.
You tell them, say, you are the future.
You are the future.
And you are royalty.
And you are royalty.
Thus saith Yah.
Thus saith Yah.
All right, y'all. So it was good seeing y'all. Thank you for taking the time to come on up. And as we come out of hiding, we ask the Most High to continue to what? Enhance our gifts. Help us show us who we are. Because once he shows us who we are even more, now we can show who they are. But until we know who we are, how are we going to show the ones of the future who they are? But yet we still stay in hiding. So that's the elder. I want y'all to be safe. Sister Sharon, we continue to pray for you and speak healing. Speak healing into you, right? Yep, through you and into all the situations around you and all the situations in all of our lives as well, right? We bring this wholeness, okay? So, yes, but Daddy didn't want to say that on the internet. So, all right. So listen, y'all. So shalom, shalom, and y'all enjoy. Shalom.
Peace.